We close enough to be able to start?
Yeah,
It's 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock, let's open up the Port of East Law Commission meeting. We are in Mapleton this evening, Wednesday, October 17th, 2018. Craig Salesi is absent. All the other commissioners are here. Obviously, we don't have any public comment. Approval of the agenda. Any questions? Anybody have any questions on the agenda?
No questions on my part.
Minutes. We have work session of 9/19/18 and 9/19/18 regular meeting minutes. Any,
No additions, correct?
no additions, corrections? Everybody good with the minutes? Craig?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. They will be approved by consent. We'll ask Kelly for a little approval or the financials information.
Okay, so the bills paid for September were $67,772.01. I got a bill from Wabi and Associates when I guess they did the surveying for the Saxon line.
the lot line adjustment.
Yeah, for $7,500. And that's supposed to go back into last fiscal year. So I talked with Grimstead, our auditors, and she says, yeah, it can be done. She said, go ahead and pay it and date it for October. But then they will, when they make their adjustments, they will put it back into the last fiscal year.
Now, is that bill, can we include it in the repairs on the zero because it was related to our initial engineering and evaluation? Do we know?
I would have to ask, I don't.
Okay, let's,
I think at one time we talked about that, and I think at one time, maybe it was even when Luskin was here, because I asked him about the survey, and he said, yes, that can be included. But that's a good point, we need to do that.
yeah, we need to at least find out because it was done because of the repairs that we're proposing, right?
Couldn't have done the repair without it.
Yeah.
Did you look to see whether or not do we have a place to put that?
That's what I'm talking with Dina about.
Who?
Dina. I'm asking her about that. I don't think that it was actually a line item in the budget.
Well, that's not what I'm concerned about. Is this gonna overextend anything? Because then we have a violation of the statute if it does. That, you should discuss that with Signe,
Basically.
the auditor, first, because we don't, this is after the fact now. We're gonna pull that back in. You're calling that an accrual. A bill that we didn't have a bill for. Why we didn't have that bill, I'm a little bit mystified, to be honest with you.
Wasn't that end property?
Well, it was the lot line adjustment that we had to do with Saxon before we even started this project.
Yeah, and that's okay. I don't have any issue with with the bill. It's the way it's transpired.
Oh, I was amazed that.
You know,
we
I'm
hadn't-
just, because that could possibly affect how our report comes out. Because if that overexpends us in an area, then we violated the rules.
Okay, so I need to talk with Cindy about that.
She'll be here on the 2nd or 3rd of November. right?
It can't go into this grant we're gonna use?
Yeah, she'll be here on the 1st of November.
For what?
We might be
She's
able to
gonna have the audit
reimburse.
done?
We'll get
I
reimbursed.
sent her a
But
whole
we have to
bunch of
show it
files,
as a line
like
item
86
somewhere.
files, and the QuickBooks thing, and so.
When was that you sent that? A couple of months ago?
No, it's at least a month ago
Okay.
I sent it, so.
Well, it's just something that, you probably, if she's gonna deliver a report, it's gonna be in that report. Okay, so, my question always comes up, well, we might have 5 or 6 bills out there that could have been accrued back. I mean, at what point does it stop?
Right.
Where do we stop going backwards and accruing? But in doing that, it's important to find out if that's going to a category, that's gonna overexpend that category. That's what's important, because if I'm not mistaken, we made a transfer from the contingency fund. Wasn't it from contingency? Or from one category to another?
But I think Dina had actually paid for it before getting the authorization to move the money.
Okay, but that's beside the point. I mean, the fact, we did something in reference to our budget. The other thing though is, we need to find out whether or not we're gonna be over budgeted in that particular category.
So I'll have to talk to Cindy.
Yeah, I would do that before she puts her report out, because then it's too late. She's gonna make a comment on that.
Sounds like something we can take care of though.
But Craig raised an issue, and I have the same, I'm a little fuzzy on how we would do this, but I understand that we can ask for reimbursements on certain expenditures related to the repairs, and they're gonna, we haven't been guaranteed that they would pick everything up, as I understand it, but we keep track of our expenditures in those areas, and we submit it at the appropriate time.
It's already been submitted.
Okay.
We should be getting our money from FEMA here really quick.
So our engineer submitted that, is that how it happened?
Yep.
Well, then he'd be the one to ask, because that should have been submitted, because he participated in that whole thing.
Yeah, the survey should have been submitted as
Well,
part of the
we should have
bundle.
tried it, yeah, because it was, we couldn't have done the CRO, we can't do that CRO without having that
Yeah.
survey done.
We'd still be.
Right,
Yeah.
but about 3 months ago, he said that survey was done, so I don't know if it's incorporated into that or not.
It's just,
How
I
would he
think,
even know the bill? We didn't.
well, I think Wobie just took this time getting the bill in,
Oh, no, I'm sure he did.
you know, I mean. he's
Well,
like-
that's been a long time ago.
When was the bill?
April?
Yeah, it should have been incorporated by the engineer.
Well, no, exactly.
Yeah.
Agreement.
When he submitted to FEMA.
Yeah.
June.
June, and I just got it here like on the 2nd.
Okay, well, that's something you can look into, Dave,
Just have
see
to
if the
look
bill's
into
already
this.
been included with the FEMA request or not.
With what Jack sent in.
Okay. Did you have any other points, Kelly?
The campground occupancy was down 3%.
Year over year?
I think that was the month. Yeah, for the year, it was up 3%, but for the month it was down 3%. And then the March was down 1% for the month.
Kelly, what sheet is that on?
Okay.
So behind
Section
number 5,
So I'm-
Second
oh,
to
I'm in
last.
there.
Just
Okay.
keep going.
second to last sheet.
Okay, that's what I'm looking for. Okay.
There it is, I saw it earlier.
Well, that's to be, I mean, when the fishing's bad, the people aren't gonna stay.
No,
We
I know.
that.
That's the
Yeah,
bottom line,
there's a lot of
okay.
people that left early and
Yeah.
some that canceled the end of
Okay.
it. And then I also included a previous year comparison, which I do like every 3 months or something, if you wanted to look at it.
Some time ago, I don't know if this is related or not, someone correct me if I shouldn't even ask about it, but what are we doing with December members? Has there been any more discussion? Did they
They're steadily
falling off?
falling. I think we just lost one more
There's-
just recently.
And I just noticed there was another one today that fell off, so I think we're down to like 22.
Are we gonna try to fight that, commissioners? Just let them fall off and go their way?
And we had talked about that once before, and I think it was a concession, to let them fall away.
And I don't think all of them are campers. Some of them are December members for Morge also.
Right.
I think we're.
And that was the problem, if we had the mortgage and everything, I mean, the whole thing would go down pretty fast, so. I think we'll just,
Yeah.
Yeah, they're gonna be falling off pretty quickly, I
I
think.
think that's what.
Oh, if the fishing keeps up, they'll fall off real quick.
oh,
No
yeah.
fish.
You know, I kind of looked at the map of the December members, and it's, they're not taking up as much of B-row. You know, I assume that that's where the whole problem came from, was all of B-row. They're pretty much spread throughout the camp.
There's a lot of them in the full hookups around the circle. They're all spread out.
Smart ones.
Yeah.
I'll go to camp in there, then out by the river.
But the main complaints that we have had about the December members has mainly had to do with B-row, people being able to get on the B-row. And there's definitely not as many December members taking up B-row spots as I was led to believe. So,
Okay.
So they're feeling better about it, okay.
Well, good. No one's screaming and hollering. Let's let it lay.
Kelly, there was two things I wanted to ask you about on the profit and loss budget and actual.
What page are you on, Mike?
I one of four. Did you had communication with our auditors about the beginning available cash?
I did.
Is this the result of that communication?
It is the result of that communication, but in doing that, I had to do a journal entry from our, what they call our fund, our general fund.
Fund balance?
Uh-huh, and so when I did what she told me to do, which was the bank amounts that we currently have are on the 6/30/18.
18, yeah.
7/1/18. That threw that general fund into a negative balance.
Into a negative fund balance?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I said, that's not right. And she says that fund balance was not balanced.
Never was right, was it?
Well, and she said Dina even knew that something was off.
Yeah.
And she says, well, we need to balance that. And I said, okay, I'm gonna do this for now and telling the commissioners that was never balanced and it needs to be
So we have a negative 193,000 plus
in the fund balance.
we cannot account for.
That's,
Okay. So, but I'm interested in understanding what she came up with you with that number. How was that number determined? Was that our cash on hand? Or was that net current assets? What was that?
that is the cash on hand from the bank
All right, so,
as of 7/1/18 or 6/30, the 6/30/18.
okay. We're on the accrual basis, or the modified accrual.
Mhm.
The modified accrual basis, is that what we keep our books at? We do our payables, you pull the payables back into the current year? If that's the case, I mean, is that what we're doing? So at June 30th, you kind of look forward to see what the bills are for the month of June that you haven't paid, and you accrue those in?
So like the bills I get at the beginning of June that are still for the previous month, they get posted in the previous month.
Okay, so if the ones that come in July, then you post them in the previous month. That's why she's suggesting that we put the $7,500 back in as an accrual,
Okay,
right?
sounds right.
Okay, so what it is then is we have $388,000 more cash than what we budgeted for, right?
I'd have to think about that and.
Okay, so our budget we budgeted on line, the first line of that page, 4,100 available, beginning cash. Our budget, if we go over, says $400,000. So we built our budget on $400,000.
That's what we had built it on,
All right.
that is correct.
But what we do have was $788,000. Okay.
According to the,
Well, according to the bank reconciliation.
and what she told me to do, but I think that's all gonna change when she tries to balance that fund balance.
Well, she can't take it out of cash. Cash is cash.
Right.
She cannot take it out of cash. She'll make some prior period adjustment because nobody knows what happened in the past. And it disturbs me that that somebody would know that we were out of balance and not brought to anybody's attention to get it straightened out before this all comes up. That's
gonna-
disturbing to me as a board member.
That's kind of what I was
Okay.
thinking myself.
The only other question I have is that if you look down under 4525, levy taxes, excuse me, 4520, you notice that our budget was $4,000, and in 1 month we doubled that. We received twice that. Did you ever call and find out what that's about?
No, but I can.
Well, I think we should know those kinds of things because that's $9,000 in prior year's taxes. No year have we ever budgeted $9,000.
No,
It would just, or excuse me, $8,599.
So we don't know the reason for the pop.
No, I'm just kind of curious because
Yeah.
nobody, I mean, that's an incredibly unusual hit I mean, it's a good thing. Maybe the county is embarrassed. Maybe they've been holding on to our money for a long, long time and we're forced to release it. But I'd be interested in knowing why that is.
Wouldn't
And I
that-
will check on it, it could possibly be my error.
No, it's not your error.
Well, it could be because.
No, because all the other districts that I know of got the same kind
Did
of,
they?
same kind of hit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, Mike, this would be based on the taxable value within our,
What it's based,
district.
you know, really what it's based on is that, for years past, if you look at the tax turnovers that Kelly gets, or
Okay.
can get, you'll see every month we get, well, I don't know, sometimes maybe we don't get
All
anything,
the
but
prior years that
all
weren't
the
paid.
prior years that weren't paid, 20 cents, $1.20,
Right.
18 cents, 6 cents, and then all of a sudden, $8,000. It would be interesting for us to know what that was about.
Okay.
So in August, what you're saying there, Mike, in August it was 420.55, and then all of a sudden in September it's 885.99.
Right, and then if you look clear over to the right under budget,
Budget,
it's
do we-
4,000.
4,000.
Which is, there's nothing wrong with that number.
That's the
It's
historical
just
value
that 4,000 is what we anticipated getting based on what we've always got. in
from the
past.
historical,
Yeah,
yeah.
and then all of a sudden they double it in 1 month.
Yeah,
But
that is curious.
I would just like to know what that was about.
But it's a plus variance, so.
Oh, no, that's fine,
Yeah.
that's fine.
Yeah, but Mike, and I'm concerned, what kind of games were being played? I'd like to
Well,
know.
quite
If there were.
quite a few years ago, they were directed by the state of Oregon because they were holding our money back. And they were directed by the state of Oregon to turn that money over faster. And they did for a long time. Is this a result of them hanging on to it?
Maybe that's, yeah.
Or, I mean, maybe it's something like, I don't know, maybe there was a suit in the county one, and somebody had to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars more in taxes, I don't know.
But the assessor should be able to give us some
Oh, yeah,
answers.
Or, yeah, the debtors. Anyway, that's all I have.
Good point, Mike.
I don't have anything else for financial.
I've got one thing on, for Kelly. Did you get your approval to be
That's,
from Dina?
that's
Or-
underneath our new business.
Oh, okay, we aren't there yet.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just reading, I'm going ahead of myself.
That's okay.
Okay, moving on. Are you good, Mike, on the financials?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, good points. Moving on to new business, we have a discussion regarding Nopal lot, making Nopal lot a paid parking lot. Commissioner Brandt has a presentation.
Well, the only thing, I'll present it this way, I mean, we got an asset there, and we're not collecting any money off of that, the city, and it's a good thing, but the city is using it more than the port is, I mean, they're using it for downtown merchants and everything. And I just wondered if there's a way that we could, or if it's feasible, that we could take and make that into a paid parking lot. I mean, we've got 100 spaces in there, even at $5 a day, I mean, during the summertime, it's full.
Well, I think it's worth considering, but I think it's one of those things that we need to involve the greater community in terms of their evaluation. Because one of the things we are required to do is economic development. So what would be the economic impact of the Old Town area if in fact we did? I have no idea. But there's probably some economist that has done some study of what happens when you suddenly go from a free parking situation to a paid lot situation.
Well, I think if the city had it, they would probably be charging for it.
Now, the other question is, and I know Dude City was just recently in the paper about making rules, but no way to enforce them.
That's
So-
the problem I see.
Well, no, I see that too, but I mean, there's a way that,
And I don't know, is there a way, we would have to have some way of collecting any tickets that were issued. And I'm reading what Dune City was doing, they were gonna try to come up with an arrangement with the municipal court to see if they would process any fines. I have no experience in that.
no,
But I think it probably would be worth looking, but, you know, I've seen some real easy ways to do it, where you go in and just pull a ticket as you come in and say, I'm staying in site 125, and the machine even asks you if you'd like a phone call to your cell phone if you've exceeded your time at the site. But ultimately, somebody has to go around and enforce.
Well, yeah, there's even an easier way. All you do is number the darn things, just like they had right across from the courthouse. You just got the old thing, you put in a dollar bill or 5, whatever it is, and that's it. I mean, into the slot you have. And I don't know if you want to enforce it or not. I mean, is this
But
an
every
idea?
4 hours, you would have to have someone go through there and take the money out of those slots and
Make sure that people have paid
make sure that they're current.
and issue tickets to those.
You're gonna have, but that being said, I've had my conversation with Dave, I think there's enough money in there that you could almost fund another position.
You know, the port is, we're facing and are going to face significant financial difficulties
Okay.
with the infrastructure issues that we have, with dredging.
Millions
We
of
can't,
dollars.
the thing is we cannot continue to just borrow money and try to fund those things. I mean, what our options are, raise the rates for everything and keep raising them
But you get the diminishing returns at some point.
pretty soon you hit the peak and you can't do it. What assets we do have on behalf of the people that live in the district, it looks to me like we've got to find a way to utilize them as much as we can. I mean, I park down there too. I'm not excited about paying $2 or $3 or $5 or whatever, but if that's the only place I've got to park, that's what I'm going to do. And I mean, there's a lot of them that are local for sure, but boy, I venture to say the bulk of them are from out of town.
I know, it'd be like us I agree with the concept, because it's like a sales tax to the
It
out
is,
people.
to a
Let's
degree
make
it
them pay
is,
for it.
but we've gotta tackle that funding problem. We all talk about it at various times, you know, we have to find a way to fund.
We talk about it all the time, we never go anywhere.
Well, with our boat parking, I mean, basically, we have envelopes, they put them in a pay slot. We walk through the boat trailer parking area, we'll put warning signs on their vehicles if they haven't paid, but really, there's no enforcement.
Well, I know, but how did that work out this year? I mean, how many people?
You know, you give them a warning, usually the next time they paid. There are a couple of habitual offenders.
Right, you're always gonna have that, no matter where you're at.
But, you know, the majority of the parking fees we are getting.
I don't know why we can't explore,
Oh, I agree.
just like the city of Dunes is attempting to do as well.
Yeah,
Explore with the city of Florence.
I mean,
Explore with-
if there's enforcement mechanism.
Well,
Or
even
if we can, if they violate, and we turn it in.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe there's a way that can be done.
What about the possibility of leasing that out to Ace Parking Company?
That's
I know
another
There's,
possibility.
there's
There's
a good
companies in
possibility.
Eugene.
Yes, that's another
Let
possibility.
them have the headaches, just pay us
X
percentage.
amount of dollars, yeah.
Yeah.
We actually, there's 199 parking spaces.
Well, I thought it was 100, that's
See,
200,
Terry,
it's $5 a
the
day.
cops
that's
don't come in
$1,000 a day.
there.
No,
They
they
don't-
did. The parking enforcement guys when they come in there.
Well,
Did.
No, I mean in Eugene.
Oh, no, not Eugene, no.
They don't do that.
No,
No, they send that in.
Right.
Just that simple, they send that in. It's no different than having a sign that says violators will be towed at their own expense. You got a tow truck there. I mean, it's happened to me before in Eugene. Not paying any attention. Maybe I saw the sign, I'm not sure.
Well, the only thing I was saying
What-
about the whole thing, I was thinking there's only 100, and Dave was saying 199, let's round it up to 200 at $5 a day. During the summer, for how many months, that's $1,000 a day.
Yeah.
Mike, I'm trying to figure out, are you for it or against it?
No, I'm for it.
Okay.
I'm
I
for it.
couldn't figure
No,
it
it's
out.
hard.
I'm for exploring it.
We got it.
For
No,
exploring.
I'm not looking at making a decision tonight, but,
No, hell
but
no.
I'm interested in utilizing that asset. See, See, it's fine and dandy that people talk about, well, you know, it's gonna do this and do that, but where are they when we have to repave it? Where are they when we have to restripe it? Where are they when we have to do those things?
Yeah.
The taxpayer's paying for that out of their, or that and the money we get from any other place. We're just pushing, it's a shell game we've been playing. I mean, not us necessarily, but just historically, it's not been a huge priority. We got debt clear up to our chin.
We're lucky, we're gonna just start incurring more PERS debt. You know, that's really not our, we're not like the school districts.
No, I know.
Not yet, but we're going to end up there because we have the PERS.
No, we don't have PERS.
Well, the city at one time did ticket our parking lots.
Right,
Am
a
I
couple of
correct?
years ago, they were ticking it.
Yeah, we didn't get anything for
Yeah.
that. They kept the money.
Well, at least that would be.
Yeah, but that would give her
enforcement.
positive feedback to make sure that people pay that.
Yeah.
Well, that's an avenue to explore. I'm not ready to jump in the middle of that, but that's an avenue to,
Okay.
I think there'll be some public outcry.
Well,
from
well,
the
there may
local
be some public outcry.
Well,
and
you know,
that-
if you
I
wanted to
don't-
start it, I mean, the first of the year or whatever, and just have them pay, just have an envelope, just like we have at the boat parking over there, you know.
Well, I mean, pretty much anywhere you go to South Jet, you go to any Lane County.
Oh, yeah.
park,
Everybody, you gotta pay the parking,
And-
but it doesn't matter.
Somebody has to maintain it. If there was nothing there, we have no investment there, and we're not gonna ever have to put any money into it, I don't know. But it's, we've gotta look at funding our own district.
What about instructing the manager to maybe check with a tow company in Eugene, a parking company in Eugene, I should say? You know, I know there's companies over there that run those parking lots.
Yeah, I don't see, I think that, yes, I think that Dave should, proceed with that. It's not like it's gonna happen next month, but it'd be nice to start getting some options. What are those options?
yeah,
And,
both enforcement options and.
how do you guys enforce it? That type of thing, is that something you could do over here? Is it?
I just don't think it would look very good having a tow truck run around through the parking lot every day. If there's some way that you could enforce it with a ticket and then have some way.
Well, that's what we need to
No,
explore.
I'm not suggesting that, Dave, with a tow truck. I just know.
That might be kind of fun.
But what
I think we ought to buy our own tow truck.
the only thing I'm thinking is that when we're talking about enforcement in
Yeah,
Eugene and those
yeah,
parking
yeah,
spots,
helmet law,
the
that's-
cops don't enforce that.
Back then.
No, they don't.
Okay, the cops
Well,
don't
it
do that.
spoils them.
If there's a violation and
They
a ticket
contract
issue,
out to-
they contract to somebody, or they have a pipeline to the courts in the city to process those. So that may be available.
Well, there are some real slick ways to control the parking and how people pay and so forth. Yeah, every lot you go to in Southern California, you're gonna pull in and it's, you're responsible for paying the fine or the parking fee and getting it recorded against your particular slot. I don't know how expensive some of the more elaborate ones are, but Craig's talking about a simple one at first.
Well, yeah, it's just, you got, the only thing I was looking at is I go down there about every day. And it's full during the summer, you can't find a place to park down there, and it's just money that we're sitting there, that somebody's using our money and we're maintaining the darn thing.
What about this idea, just bouncing off, is to sell the businesses parking spaces and not say that it's just for them, but they could put up a little sign in front of the parking space?
Well, you can do that too, but another way to do that is just go ahead and charge for the parking and then have the businesses,
Validated.
Validated.
Yeah, there you go. I was thinking of some way to bring the businesses, give them some.
I think if you talk to the city, I've had some conversations and they understand it, they don't care because
No.
The validation thing is a good thing.
The validation
That
would be-
works, that makes people, sometimes it encourages people to go into
Shop,
those places.
yeah.
But we don't have to reinvent the wheel. It'd be nice
No,
to
no.
find out if we've got a good example of a similarly situated arrangement, whether it's another port or a fairgrounds or whatever, and we can
Okay.
maybe use it as a
The
model.
whole boardwalk Noble Street area there at one time was built and designed for the port for some type of commercial application. I mean, that's why it was put in place, that's why it was built.
Well, that leads us to another discussion, which we're gonna have later, about the boardwalk, so let's keep that in the back burner, I guess. Eventually, I'd like to see us do something there. There's no reason to own that property there, and
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of assets out there as I read through everything you own. There's places you can make money with.
anything else?
No, I agree, we ought to explore, I agree with Craig's point that let's begin the evaluation.
Okay? Now we'll go back to Craig again on the blue storage buildings.
That's another one. Oh, I brought them up. Now, those buildings, I just don't quite understand. Let me put it this way, before I was even elected as a commissioner, I heard a lot of stories about these, that people wanted to tear them down, keep them, whatever, so I just wanted to go back and start all over with this whole thing and see what we want to do with them. Do we want to tear them down? Do we want to fix them? Do we want to raise the rates again? I mean,
I think when we have discussed that, it's always come up to, well, they're rented at least, and it is an asset for us right now.
right, no, I understand that. Yeah.
But it was my impression that we were going to, when we look at our 5-year plan,
Yes, that's definitely.
that we were gonna incorporate, an evaluation of whether we, I mean, it's a matter of doing the math. We know what the income is on the blue buildings right now. So then we compare that with the cost of tearing them down. We've talked about drive-through, camping sites and what the return would be on that. And we look what is the return on investment. All that would require a certain amount of, so if we look at the return of investment after either leaving them in place and collecting what we are currently collecting, or whether we go a different direction. Again, it was my impression that we're gonna make that part of our discussion in terms of our 5-year plan. If we want to concentrate on it right now, I have no problem, but again, I think, and I don't think it's all that complicated. We've had some estimates of what it would take
Oh,
to
yeah.
clear them.
And right now, some of them are in need of some serious repair. We just had a door fall off the other day, and,
See, I'm personally not in favor of spending a lot of money to upgrade them. I think it would take hundreds of thousands of dollars to upgrade those to the quality of a dry storage, which people want, whether it's heated or not, they want dry storage with concrete floors and bird proof and rodent proof and all of the other
You
good
can afford to
stuff.
do that here.
well, right now, at this minute, there needs some serious roof repair done. There's a couple doors that won't open, they need new hinges, and when you start looking at the rest of them, you mess with one and it's gonna go right to the
Yeah.
next one. And I mean, there's a few of them that we can't rent, there's some of them that they've got 25, 26 foot rented on one side, and so the other side's only got 20 foot left, so it doesn't really make it rentable.
Yeah.
And so they're in some serious need of some repair right now
They're-
at this time.
There's a layout in the back of your book there.
The majority of them are rented.
I think Kelly
Under
put that
tab 6, the very last page of
page
tab
is the
6.
layout.
Okay, so we go to the second section, is that what we're?
Number 6.
Number 6, the back page,
Very last page.
54-7.
Okay, number 6, the very last page. Okay. I see it. I got some yellow and some blue.
So the yellow is what the maintenance is using now. The blue are empty. There's a couple of them that say the doors broke. And then the rest of everything has got the names and they're taken.
So the only thing I'm concerned with is, if we're gonna keep it like this, why don't we go ahead and, I don't know, I think right now you charge by the foot, right?
And it's $50 for 20 foot and then $5 a foot.
It's 20-foot minimum, so $50, and then $250 every foot after that.
Okay, now 20 foot is 20 foot from, let's take a boat
From
trip.
the tongue to the motor.
Okay, now any 20-foot boat right now is 26, 25, 26
yeah.
with the offshore brackets and the motors and the tongue and everything. So, do we need, if we're gonna keep it like this, do we need to just up everything and make it a even $50 a month? For everybody, or,
Well, some are taking up more space than others.
but yeah,
And
How much are
then
we charging now?
it's $50 for 20 foot initially, and then it's $2.50 each additional foot after that.
so a 20, say 30 foot is gonna cost you $60. And that's most what those boats are, is 30 foot, and you don't have that much room in the half of these, and that's what they're following. And
And they're so tight in there that.
Oh, I know, we tried to get in there, we had 51 there for a long time, the step group did, and that thing goes underwater.
But they're rented, I mean,
Oh, no, I understand that, Dave, no, I'm saying that's fine.
and they know that, you know, we get standing water in there.
Well, everybody
You know,
knows that, yeah.
It's not dry, the birds, you know, feces all over the place.
That's the dishwasher going, we're in the home ec.
I thought maybe you had.
But no, that's the only
I thought
thing,
maybe
the
you had
only thing I was
stomach
bringing up
problem.
is, I don't know if we wanted to spend money repairing the broken door in one, or leave it the way it is,
Well,
or increase the,
again, I think we need to look at the big picture. If we decided to demolish them, how much would that cost, and how much would we lose in income from what we're currently getting, and then replace the demolished ones with what, a dry pull-through or improved pull-through?
Pretty
or-
much every year, we've been making 25 to 27,000 a year.
On these?
Off
Money.
of the four buildings.
Okay, and if we had, I heard a number one time, a few months back, about the number of pull-through dry camps we could create.
16, you could probably get in there, 16, 18, because we would have to.
A total for each building, or a total of 16
The
total?
whole area, because we're gonna have to keep a portion of that, you know, shop for maintenance and our own storage, so.
And those 16 would not be, as
Those
we
would be
know,
full pull-throughs.
and they would only be full 4 months out of the year?
We're about on 50%.
Okay,
A
so,
little less than 50%.
so what's the,
occupancy
so
rate.
that would be 150 days, and what's the daily rate for
Our
some?
most expensive sites are 38 with full.
That's full hookup,
Full
but the dry
hookup.
camping is 27.7.
28.
So,
And we would
what
be-
are we looking at, $70,000, something on that order, with doing the rough math?
yeah, but we wouldn't be able to, you couldn't afford to make these, and this is another thing, I'm just bringing up discussion. You wouldn't be able to put power in there, because you're gonna have to have another transformer.
Well, we're talking about.
Dry camping.
We're
Dry
talking about
camping
just dry
for now.
camping.
Right.
People that are self-contained, and,
Yeah, because the infrastructure on that would, to make it.
but ultimately, like Mike is saying, we need to spend some money on infrastructure, but we need to do it without we can't assume much more debt. We gotta figure out a way to generate a revenue stream that would pay for the improvements, infrastructure
I
improvements.
mean, the RV park is our main revenue stream.
So that would be, you think, would you say approximately 16 pull-throughs?
16, 18
So
pull-throughs.
your rough math is $75,000.
I think so.
Yep.
So, there's nothing, there would be nothing there, it's full dry camp, right?
For just
So it'd be minimal,
initially.
reasonably minimal.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not really sure what that means anymore, but it'd have to be paved, or it'd be paved, wouldn't it? Have to be
No.
paved or
No,
not?
gravel.
So it would be minimally, investment other than tearing the buildings down would be relatively minimal,
Yeah,
wouldn't you think?
I would think.
Oh, yeah, I honestly think someone will take them buildings down for the material.
Do you think that, I mean, there's that need
But
for those pull-throughs?
Oh, yeah.
how do you propose, David, to keep
I
the,
gotta get a drink.
you gonna leave half of one of them up?
The portion that the maintenance uses, yeah, the only one that's actually got a concrete floor and actually good framing and everything in there is the maintenance. You've been in the maintenance shop itself right there.
That's one, closest to the office
Yeah.
that
And
they
the-
use.
Yeah, and the one just on the other side, it's got dirt in there, and that's where we store like the tractor and the boat and stuff like that, so we'd have to keep,
So what is your
Those-
intent, to try to cut this building in half and leave half of it up?
yeah,
Which could be
or
done.
a quarter of it. Yeah.
So
And the other
on
one
this
got
diagram,
complete.
you're gonna have 1, 2, 3, 4, 36, 35,
So you
34,
would,
33.
you would basically have less than a quarter of it of both buildings.
And when you were quoting the 16 pull-throughs, that was keeping up a portion of the buildings for, okay.
Oh, wouldn't it be more effective though to just keep half of one building rather than a quarter of
Yeah,
two?
you're right,
Okay, I mean,
yeah, no.
that's how we do it.
I'm just thinking just because of the way it's set up right
Yeah.
now, but yeah, exactly.
So we would get what did you say, we're getting approximately 25,000 currently? for
Yeah.
A year.
Yep,
So we possibly could pick up an additional $30,000 to $50,000 in revenue if we, see, I think that's the kind of evaluation we need to do. We need to confirm those, tighten up those figures, see what it would cost us to get Terry's buildings removed and keep enough of them that Terry would be happy. No,
Well, I tell you, I have a hard time with this because this is $25,000 a year, we're guaranteed.
oh, I
Oh, no,
understand.
no, I agree with you.
We haven't put a single penny to speak of, a couple of hinges and a couple of doors. We've never done much to them. You know?
No, so I think it involves a hard-nosed evaluation.
If we had a hard-nosed evaluation and it showed me, then you could convince me.
If it showed you we could get an extra $50,000 a year revenue with a reasonable assumption?
Yep.
Well, if we
It
don't wanna,
wouldn't
if we don't wanna
take
do
50
that, why don't we
for me
just
to-
raise the
It
rate?
wouldn't take 50.
Well, wouldn't, an increase of 50? No, it wouldn't take that for me to just, I mean, I have a hard time with the 20. I mean, I'm not, you know, it's a little uncomfortable to walk away from the money that we're getting.
Right.
But it wouldn't take long to,
Hypothetically, it won't be long before we won't be getting that because we either have to put money into it or they're slowly gonna come apart.
And fall down, you won't have any.
Leston's been telling this for 4 years. 4 years ago, he said, oh, they're falling apart. There's no one renting them. We've been telling people they're not for rent. Well, they're full now.
No, I don't
there's
disagree
no
with
problem
that,
renting
but
them.
Well, that's another thing, I mean, if you wanna rent them and everything, you talk about just like the parking and everything, the rent, just let's raise the rent on the darn thing where it's feasible for us to do some repair on the darn things.
yeah, but again, you get to the point of diminishing returns. You gotta find the price point where people are gonna walk away.
Well, at some point,
Just-
gentlemen, you gotta spend money to make money.
Yeah,
So,
but,
so Mike, I didn't understand. Are you on the fence or which way are you going?
no, it's not a matter of the fence. I'm not doing anything till I see. I mean, I hear some numbers that were just bluntly thrown out.
Yeah.
That's not sufficient for me to make any kind
no,
of
I agree, we
intelligent
need to
decision.
tighten up the.
But I do agree, we're making $25,000 on those buildings now. And whatever comes up, it's gotta be a bit more than that to go through the hassle. Because no matter what happens, we can't tear them down today and start and have pull-throughs the next day.
No.
So it's gonna be a while.
6 months.
So we're gonna lose $2,500 to $2,700 a month,
Oh, yes.
just, you know, while we're waiting.
Well, and another thing too, I mean, that's what I'm saying, if you wanted to keep them there, just raise the rate a little bit, because there's no place for these people to park anything in the city of Florence. I mean, that's just it.
I think we've had one estimate of putting in new doors and roof, and it was like $250,000.
Yeah, well, we're not gonna do this. I'm not voting for anything.
There goes your $25,000 a year, just to make the payments.
Takes 10 years to do that.
Well, you got the same situation going on with your mortgage right now.
Yeah,
You know, and it's gonna be the same numbers.
Oh, yeah.
You're not charging enough mortgage and we got a $300,000 dredging bill coming up.
Yeah.
We just found the money for that. Not
We
this
did?
year, but next year, yeah. Right? That's what I say. It's there,
I hope.
but we'll talk about that later.
You found it in the budget or you found it?
Kelly found it in the budget. But it's not budgeted for this year. It
Okay.
can be budgeted.
gotta be
for next year.
reconciled.
When is the year-end budget?
Not to July.
Long time away.
Well, you're not on December 1 or January 1.
Or June 30.
Well, anyway, it doesn't matter if we got the money or not, we're gonna have to spend the same amount of money.
No, I know.
You know, we're gonna spend a lot of money on the mortgage.
Well, the only thing I can say is we gotta keep this stuff in discussion all the time, or else, I mean, eventually, 3 months down the line, it'll be gone, and then say my commission's done in June and I'm not around, so it starts all over again. I mean,
Well,
that's,
It seems like it comes up for discussion quite often.
Right.
You know?
Well,
I agree with you, Craig, good job. I mean, we need to start the discussion, whether we do it or not, whether we can convince Mike and Bill, with numbers.
yeah.
Well, I mean, no, I mean, just show you the numbers.
Or we can do half now and half later, so we only lose 12,000.
Half the revenue.
Half the revenue, and then once we get that converted, then we pull the plug on the other.
But the thing about it is, you wanna do half now and half later, I mean, you can start the half, in November, it doesn't hurt anything, cause you're not gonna have that many people in there. I mean, right now, the campground's clearing out pretty fast. And then the pull-throughs become right on behind.
So you need
I don't know.
we need to tighten up on the numbers and see if there's a reasonable plan or multiple plans.
Good enough, that we beat this up?
Yeah.
What's the next step? What do you wanna do? You wanna have David give us a presentation at the next meeting showing how much it's gonna cost to?
Well, how about, I'd like to give David 2 months to do that instead of just a month.
Okay.
We gotta give him enough time because there's, the month of November comes up, there's lots of stuff that goes on that people do, we should give him.
We don't wanna put,
Give him.
He doesn't have a life.
we don't wanna put these two underneath too much pressure.
I mean, I wanna hear it as bad as you do, but that's just voicing my opinion. I like to give him plenty of time so he doesn't have to.
No, I agree.
He's working with, you're working with, on a 5-year plan or trying to figure all that out too, and that's gotta be a nightmare, so.
The 5-year plan, are you getting help from Bud?
Yeah, well, not from another port, with Business Oregon and ELCOG. Kelly and I both met with ELCOG last couple weeks ago, and they're gonna try and help us out with,
5-year plan.
yeah, oh yeah.
I mean, like we said last month, the 5-year plan, they had the mill site, which nobody really knows what that's
Yeah.
about. It's gonna come off eventually, right? Or can we take it off right now and do something else? Or?
It doesn't matter if you leave it on there and take it off.
Oh, it just
No,
goes down the line.
that's the plan we have in place right now. So and we will make changes, we will.
Well, I'm not opposed to doing something with the blue buildings. Let's get the right numbers though and show us. And
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
no other public comments. We have manager and commissioner reports. Oh,
I have-
QuickBooks.
So QuickBooks Master,
So,
they're red.
I have to be the new master administrator on QuickBooks, and they require that it's in our commission meeting minutes that I would be the administrator on QuickBooks.
Can you explain to me what that means? I'm a little confused. I know everybody else does, I'm sorry. I
So-
understand.
No.
I
It's
need
right
to
here.
send a copy of our QuickBooks file to our accountant,
Uh-huh.
and in order to do that, you have to be the administrator, logged in as the administrator, which was fine, I logged in as the administrator, but I had to call QuickBooks on some questions, and they don't want to talk to me because I'm not the administrator, Dina was. So now they, in order to change it to my name, they require you to look at the paper behind the letter thing that
6C.
I wrote, and it says board meeting minutes, so it has to state from the commissioners in our board meeting minutes that I can be the administrator on the QuickBooks account.
Holy smokes.
Tell me about it, I know. Okay,
It's
do
a
whatever you.
cover, it's a cover your rear end on their part.
Well, but it doesn't have anything to do with you showing your passport or IDs and all that special personal information to send it into it? Because, just so that they can
didn't
talk
ask
to
me
her?
for my social security number, but
Exactly,
not
and
yet.
I was blown away that it has to be done, that that's what they're saying has to be done so that I can be put on as the administrator.
Well, I would like to, for the record, say that Kelly, you are our administrator on the meeting, on the minutes.
Thank you.
I mean, really, that's all we have to do, isn't it?
And I'm an administrator for the QuickBooks
You are.
account, yes.
Good job.
Perfect.
That's pretty unbelievable that you have to get driver's license and passports. And
I
Now,
agree.
did, Kelly, to be specific, did they want to show an actual motion and vote on the part of the board, or just an agreement at a commission meeting that you are the,
Just an agreement, it just says board meeting minutes. that
okay, I
state
concur
that I'm-
with Terry,
I can
that's
be an
fine.
You're
administrator.
gonna show the whole, you're gonna send them the minutes, right?
I am gonna send them. the
Okay.
minutes.
Well, I certainly agree that, I mean, you are the administrator. I think it's the most absurd insanity I've ever heard of
I agree,
with a small, this is just insane.
I know.
No, that's probably one of those things that, you know, it should have been done when Dina was gone. It's just one of those things, they didn't know that she was the QuickBooks administrator.
Yeah, well, I just have a lot more experience with QuickBooks and Intuit, so I happen to know that I've changed the administrator on more than half a dozen occasions, not doing this either.
That's what they
Well,
told me.
not too many people have a QuickBooks administrator hired on their full-time staff.
No, but I'm the administrator on my own staff, and I change it to other people on my staff, and with a phone call and a password, and we're done.
Yeah, I sent him a letter, you know, there's a copy of the
Well, that's
letter
fine, I
there.
mean, that's whatever. It
Have
is
them
what it
sign
is.
it, and they're
It's just-
telling, you're gonna have to do this.
I don't like the stuff where Craig and Bill's gotta send in driver's license or passport, or, it's like,
Well, I want
what?
a copy of a driver's license, doesn't matter. I won't give them my social security number.
No, no. I
They can
won't.
look it up if they want to anyhow, so.
Where are you gonna get a business license, and are we registered with the state of, with the Secretary of State's office?
I believe we are, and I've got a copy, I don't have it with me, I have a copy of our business license, that I'm gonna send them.
Well, who do we have a business license with?
Should be Secretary of State.
I think it is the secretary's. No,
That'd be
it's
interesting.
actually through the city.
City.
Yeah.
It is through the city.
That's the only business license I ever have to have is a city business license.
Then you gotta send bank statements showing that, proving that you've been making the subscription payments.
I know.
Wow.
I know.
That's interesting. Okay, that's cool.
You don't have to be registered secretary with the state?
I don't think so, not.
No, when I had
not
to
the
start
port.
doing that.
Not the port.
Oh, really?
Even private business, we
Yes.
don't.
Municipality. Or
Well, if you,
only if you have a assumed business name, you're a corporation,
Yeah.
you're a partnership, an LLC, then you're listed with a registry. You have to pay every year to do
Right.
that.
But that's the
Municipality-
corporation registry.
Good.
Yeah, or a DBA, you know, somebody
Yeah,
that's a
Do
sole
business
proprietor.
as, yeah.
But I don't believe you'll find us on I don't think you'll find a port or anybody, you know, the fire department or anything.
Well, it wouldn't be an LLC, it's limited
No.
liability.
Any other questions, problems, complaints,
not here.
reports? Craig, you have a report?
Report for what? It was
Anything.
a great
I don't know.
job.
That's it.
What have you been doing?
It's a great job and the fishing is not really good right now, but it's time to go bottom fishing. Bottom fishing is gonna pick up. So,
Mike?
No, absolutely not.
I made my normal monthly appearance at the Chamber of Commerce, and let them know what we're struggling with in terms of crabbing about the crabbers and the adjustment to that, and that we're looking to do our repairs on our C-roll, and but that was about it.
You guys see the email from our dock people?
Bartolovich.
it
Yeah.
was good.
Yeah, that's
That was
nice.
It was good.
That was good feedback.
Oh, yeah, and as a matter of fact, I really like the way that ended up. I like that's plenty of area to do crabbing and,
No, it is, and we've had absolutely no real negative
yeah,
feedback. on that
I
kind
was
of
smiling
feedback.
after that. That was good.
Good.
Okay, one more report now. What, did you meet with the city, with the city council? Did you talk to?
I have not. You mean you and I are gonna talk to?
There you go.
No, I have not. My calendar has been rather full with, trying to beat the weather, but we will.
No, that's fine. I just wanted, don't
you
let it
have
go
to
down
miss
because
Are
we
you
got.
talking about talking with the manager about Pacific View?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And that has not transpired yet, and I'll let you know when I can clear my calendar and see what your calendar looks like and her calendar.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got to make an appointment to get on her calendar, but I haven't done that yet.
Yeah, because we need to talk to them about, about.
Yeah, see if they might be interested to,
That and the widening of the road, if they're gonna buy some right away, we wanna do all that.
yep. And I suppose we haven't heard anything from our real estate, there's been no inquiries about the Pacific View.
Not at all.
As quiet as could be, yeah.
I wonder if we shouldn't have him on the next meeting and see if he remarketed that as subdividable.
Easily subdividable.
Yeah.
That's what that, I think he changed, didn't, you guys say he changed the way it was presented? Somebody said that the way it was being marketed online, that there was a
I
change.
thought I heard that from you guys at our last meeting, that he was kind of excited because he could market it.
Well,
He
yeah,
was
he was at our meeting
Meeting,
and he was involved in that discussion. Then I take it back, I don't know if he's changed, what he's presented. I thought I'd heard that he did, but, so it wouldn't be a bad idea to have him touch base with us again. See if anybody's sniffing at it. It's,
Are we gonna eventually talk about, again, lowering the price?
well, I think that's a discussion.
I know Mike wanted to know something
Well,
about.
why don't we hold
We had
off
it
on
done.
that until we talk with the city?
Got it.
Yeah, we don't want to lower the price or find out the city's gonna buy it.
Yeah,
I
yeah, let's,
understand that, but.
yeah. And I'll get on that. My schedule's gonna lighten up here in the next couple of weeks, because we're weathered in now. I was pushing to beat the weather on my project, so.
Yeah.
Mike, did you ever get any answers? I mean, I tried to read through that paperwork. I have no idea what our bottom line is in that property.
No, I don't know yet,
Have you looked at the paperwork?
just barely.
You mean the fully burdened cost of what we've got into it?
It's just, it's overwhelming to even try to figure it out unless someone was there that knows. And Wendy may.
Wendy, when we had that meeting, Wendy said, as far as she knew, it was 250,000.
That's all, yep.
Remember? And she said that's all she knows about that whole
That's the
thing.
figure that I've heard over.
You would darn sure think that if we spent more, we would be talking about that now.
Now, that doesn't include the interest on the notes that we've got.
No.
So that's an additional burden that we've got in it, but, okay.
But as far as any development costs,
No.
We never did any survey, we never did anything of that nature. Never did, we didn't do any, I don't know that we don't pay property tax on that piece, do we? Because it's not being utilized for revenue.
What Wendy was saying is she recollects that the county sold it to us or gave it to us for $250,000 and then I think that came along with the shovel ready,
Yes.
which is I didn't realize what shovel ready meant, but I mean, that is aquaculturable. They can actually draw water out of the Siuslaw River to
Yeah.
grow shrimp, clam, whatever on that piece of property.
Yeah.
So that does stay with it, she said.
Whether we divide it or not.
That's it. Yes.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Yeah. So,
That makes a difference.
yeah,
That makes a big difference.
yeah,
You were gone at the last meeting, I think.
Yeah.
And we talked about that. Maybe Craig, you want to highlight a little bit to Mike about it?
Well, Wendy, what she was saying, and I didn't know what the shovel ready meant either, I just thought that maybe it was just the water sewer and everything. She said, no, that shovel ready, and I think there's a file, she said it's like 80 pages. That the state you have to get it approved from the state, and the state will let you draw water out of the Siuslaw River for aquaculture or whatever on that. And as soon as you implement that, they've got to do it immediately. They got to pass the
I gotta
regs.
be ready.
Yep. The state will be ready. So, I mean, that's worth some money to somebody,
yeah, and the city
And
also
then-
said we could develop it a parcel at a time
Right.
by doing, a minor partition. You can create 3 parcels, take that whole 40 some acres. You could create an acre parcel, 38 remaining, and you could just supply services to those two lots and sell it. Following year, you could do a minor partition again and create 2 more 1-acre lots or half-acre lots, provide just pavement, curbs,
Curb gutter sidewalk, whatever.
and the sewer to that. So you do not have to develop the whole parcel at one shot. I mean, it was,
It doesn't have to be a 140
That makes a
acre.
huge difference.
I thought it was.
For a buyer, not for us.
No, for a buyer. it
But
does,
the
yeah.
buyer, I mean, the site that's advertising that has to convey that in a way
Right.
that's gonna draw somebody's interest. Because typically, somebody's looking at that
It's a 40 acre
as
piece.
40 acres that they have to develop before they can sell the first lot.
Right, that makes sense. And you're right, that has to be conveyed that way. It has to be
Yeah, 'cause
presented in such a fashion that's
Because,
understood.
boy, it impressed me that that parcel could be much more valuable than the way it's being perceived now by the marketplace.
And that was the whole idea, that whole meeting, if we could market it that way, and I thought Andy was gonna probably rearrange that, but.
I'm sure he probably has,
Yeah.
you think?
well,
Yeah,
I'm sure he wants to sell it as bad as what we do,
Oh, yeah.
as commission.
Yeah.
To his credit, he was there, he took it all in,
Oh, yeah, he
asked
took it all in.
questions.
No, he's,
And then the city has gotta redo Rhododendron Road right there, Rhododendron, because it's sinking into the river. And they're looking at, they're gonna have to buy some frontage from us.
Well, I think it would be a good idea to have Andy in on a discussion, just to,
But you got, who is it, Mike? Public Works Director?
Yeah,
yeah.
Mike Miller.
Mike Miller, yeah. To talk to him, because they are gonna have to start buying some of that right away.
Valuable ground.
Yes, it is.
well, they got houses on the other side, it's gonna be hard to buy that right away.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, well, they're gonna have to go this way. You know, what is there, an acre lot right in the corner piece of that right there? Somebody's private acre?
Oh, I think there is.
Yeah, there is, one private acre
is
right in
that?
that corner.
She
Remember?
was showing us
Yeah, I
a
think
little
we,
sliver, wasn't it?
That's not ours.
that's not
No,
ours,
that's not
that's it.
ours, yeah.
But the rest,
We
well,
have one, is a portion of that actually on the river across the road that,
it's on the same side as we are.
yeah.
There's another sign up there right now. I wished I would've brought the map. It's in my garage on my desk.
Well, David, you're wondering how we have access to the water.
Yeah,
So they'd have
You'd have
to,
to run a pipe
underneath the rhododendron.
Yeah, there's already a culvert way through there,
Okay, all right.
so that'd be easy.
But there is one piece of property right in there, and then he was talking about, she was saying, well, I can't remember the name of the guy that owned it.
But you know, getting back to advertising that needs to make sure that it's highlighted also, that we may be missing
Oh,
some
Potential,
customers just because they're not aware of the,
well,
The
it's
wonderful
already, I didn't quite
opportunities
understand what it meant, but
presented to
it's a big thing. It's a real big thing.
Well, I think it wouldn't be unfair for us to ask Andy to be at our next meeting in Florence.
okay.
Well, I think you need to, I mean, and see if he's, you know, remarketed in a different
yeah,
way.
to in general discuss marketing and so forth.
Yeah.
Again,
Now, is any of the commissioners interested in going to, we have an upcoming, it's the SDAO annual conference, it's in Sun River this year. Bill, you went last year to Seaside with me, right?
yes.
Would anybody be interested in going to the one in Sun
What
River?
are the dates on that?
It's
Dave?
the 8th through the 10th of February.
And it's over in the Bend area?
Right at your
Out of my
house,
backyard?
right at your house.
Yeah, I may be interested.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's right across the street. Sun River, Caladera.
Yes. Yeah, I've got a nice bedroom I can stay in, so, and maybe room for others that,
what's going on with the bids on the Zero project?
We haven't received any bid back as of yet, but it's a sealed bid. We won't open them till after the closing date. And right now, there's a few changes that we're making to the RFP, which will extend the bids out another week.
So the
So it's supposed to close tomorrow, or,
The 19th will extend to the 24th.
Wednesday.
On Wednesday.
I do see where they've got 8-ounce fabric on there now.
Do that.
But
Okay.
kind of from what I understand, that the bids usually come in right towards the end.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there'll be people sitting out there saying, anybody else gonna drop any plans on?
And I don't know what you guys wanna do on the opening of those bids, if we wanna have a meeting and open them at.
No, is it gonna be a public opening or private opening?
Is there a legal requirement, a process that we must comply with in terms of
It would be a public opening, isn't
It's
it?
not that we just have to wait till after the closing date at 4 PM in order to open them.
I know, but do we have to have a public meeting to open them?
You know, I don't think we do.
I think Jack's gotta be there.
I wouldn't ask Jack about it, I'd ask
No.
our attorney about it.
Yeah, I would just make sure we're complying with any of the legal requirements. I don't necessarily want to be there, but I do want to make sure that we don't mess up in terms of the process.
Good God. No, we've had a hard enough time with
Yeah.
bids.
Yeah.
So that's where we're at.
Yeah, Mike,
Offer
I think there
opening,
was some
here it is.
changes made to the Zero project, just some clarifications made. And it's coming out on the addendum on the bids, and I got them, and they answered my questions. I had a few questions, because I did look at the bid. I tell you, if you,
Well, I wouldn't have known unless, you know.
Yeah, I mean,
It's
you
nice
haven't-
having you.
when you sit and read that, if you want good reading, just sit and read through that bid proposal. You'll just shake your head through the whole thing.
I don't think I want to do it then.
No, it just makes you be aware more about people at workforce, we just have to, we just have to follow up like you did.
Yeah.
It says the offer
So
open
there
right
was
here.
some errors.
Offers will be opened
Yes.
at Fortis Isla office at 4 PM. October 24th, now it's at 19th. Award decisions will not be made at the offer opening, so you will have to open them.
Well,
And they've got to be stamped and dated. I mean, everybody's got to be in there, and you will have to have a clock or somebody sitting there to make sure, because anything after 4:01, you can't take the
No,
bid.
no.
with that being said, is there anything else that would like to discuss?
No, I want to thank everybody for coming to Mapleton. It's, I realize there's not any, nobody here tonight. Next year, I'm going to do a better job at getting, there's several local weekly kind of things, plus the school newspaper. I'm going to try to make sure
Promises,
that
promises.
they all do that. You know, it never crossed, until I came here and I didn't see anybody here, it never crossed my mind. But next year.
I thought we were going to Ford Street.
I would like, you didn't.
I did, and then somewhere on the way home.
I worried about it all day, but I forget. But anyway, thank you for allowing this meeting to occur, and I'd like to continue it if possible.
Oh, I think so.
Yeah.
But I want at least 100%, no, it'd be an infinite percent gain.
I'll make sure somebody's here.
Let's do it during school hours, we can hold that class here.
Yeah, we can make a pie.
All right, I'm out of
With
here.
that being said, meeting's closed.